from the studios in Colorado Springs, Colorado.
What?
Oh my God! Let's go! Time to start the day, time to get up!
If we do this, how do we know it's going to end any differently than it did before?
I just know this is going to be a great day.
Wake up, smell the coffee, all right?
Wake up and sniff it.
Oh, that's strong.
Caffeine's poison, don't you know that?
Yeah, but what a way to go.
Woo!
It's showtime.
Welcome into the Sports Guy Mike Show right here on KCBR 98.5 AM 1040 in Colorado Springs and online at 100mixfm.com. Sports Guy Mike hanging out with you on this. Man, it's already Thursday. Don't I say that every Thursday, though? Starting to wonder about that. It's like Thursday is like my favorite day before it all goes down to chill. Trying to grow. For those of you that can see us on Sportscaster and Facebook, trying to see about this beard thing. I'm not 100% sure though. We'll see what happens. So many guys over the course of the pandemic have grown some pretty impressive beards, and I guess I'm kind of late to the game, but we'll see. We'll see how it comes in. Y'all let me know what you think thus far. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with us and making us part of your day. We appreciate you as always. Today we're going to talk about a couple things that are going on in the world of sports as far as some headline news, of course, but we're going to start doing something a little bit different here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. We're going to start bringing in people from the community and talking to them at the top of the show. As well, they could be involved in sports. They can be involved in local organizations. So we're going to do that. And today on the show, we're going to have Ellie Redcloud. She is she's a business strategy consultant at Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting. And she's also a member of My Black Colorado. And she's going to join the show here in about 15 minutes or so. So we look forward to talking to her. But yesterday, and I was actually surprised that this was actually moved forward. I told you guys that Bubba Wallace was asking that NASCAR get rid of the Confederate flags at all future events. Now, NASCAR did that very thing, or excuse me, they actually went ahead and I guess granted his request. Now, of course, Bubba Wallace is the only full-time black driver in the NASCAR Cup Series. He called for the organization to ban the Confederate flag from all events, and that's exactly what they did. In a statement on Twitter, NASCAR's statement was, the presence of the Confederate flag at NASCAR events runs contrary to our commitment to providing a welcoming and inclusive environment for all fans, our competitors, and our industry. Bringing people together around a love for racing and the community that it creates is what makes our fans and sports special. The display of the Confederate flag will be prohibited from all NASCAR events and properties. Now, this is actually pretty big. I was actually really surprised, but pleasantly surprised. While speaking with CNN this week, Wallace hit out that the nation, that anybody should be allowed to fly a Confederate flag at an official event, saying no one should feel uncomfortable when they come to a NASCAR race. So it starts with the Confederate flags. Get them out of here. They have no place for them. There's getting to be a lot of angry people that carry those flags proudly, but it's time for a change. Now, Wallace wore a I Can't Breathe Black Lives Matter shirt, and I told you guys about how he has a new paint job on his vehicle. It is amazing, and I love it. I have sent emails to people to try to find out how I can get an actual die-cast car, like a small version of that car with that paint job on there, so I can proudly keep it here in the man cave, our man cave studio, as you see, those of you who are watching behind us. You guys only get to see a glimmer of this thing. Maybe one day I'll just show you, I'll give you guys a panoramic view of it, but it's pretty impressive if I do say so myself. But anyway, so yeah, that is going down, and you can no longer have a Confederate flag at NASCAR events. So good job from Bubba Wallace. Pretty impressive, man. Good job. All right. Speaking of impressive, the Minnesota Twins, two professional sports franchises actually in the Twin Cities, have made significant contributions to racial and social injustice campaigns in light of the killing of George Floyd. Minnesota Twins, who are owned by the Polid family, announced Wednesday that they are committing $25 million to racial injustice through family foundations. The two-phased community-based approach will first focus on providing immediate relief and rebuilding organizations impacted in communities and matching employee donations to charitable efforts. The second phase is rooted in long-term efforts to partner with other, quote, equally committed organizations to help change the system that create racial inequalities and marginalize people of color. Now, the Minnesota Vikings and the Wilt family also announced Wednesday a $5 million donation to national social justice causes, a fund that will be determined through collaboration with the team's social justice committee and directed towards organizations, quote, fighting hate, racism, and inequality. So we got rid of a Confederate flag at NASCAR. The Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Twins, $30 million between the two of them to go ahead and help with social causes, injustice. I mean, this is it. I'm glad that it's happening. My problem is that it took the death of George Floyd for this to happen. I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. I hope that we see more outpouring of this from companies, organizations, franchises with super deep pockets that have the platform to make the change, especially in sports. Because think about how deep-rooted the black community is in sports. I mean, are we talking, if we really broke down the percentage of black people in the NFL, and it's just, it's good to see, and I'm glad that these organizations are coming forward and actually doing something. They're actually putting their money where their mouth is. And that's hard to do for some people and for some businesses and organizations. They'd rather just say, hey, we're for it. We support you. Okay, in what way? And that's the biggest thing that a lot of people need to understand, that it's appreciated. Your words are appreciated. Everything that you say in a positive manner is always appreciated. And it's always taken for what it's worth until you make something good on it. There's got to be an action behind it. The problem in this country is that people do a lot of talking. There's a lot of rhetoric. Everybody wants to have a positive statement on social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. But what are you doing outside of that? What are you doing outside of your words? And that's what makes the difference. That's what's going to make this country better, and that's what's going to move the change forward, is by your actions, just not your words. So just figured I would put that out there for you guys. Also, a little bit later on in the show, we are going to talk about Rob Manfred came out and said that he's saying it's definitely going to be a baseball season, but I don't know. We'll see. NBA's having some issues. We're going to talk about that as well. But I got a gang of messages yesterday. Thank you, guys. You can always hit me up on social media at SportsGuyMike on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. You can also email me at mike@sportsguymike.com. I guess the coronavirus stories are still somewhat popular. So An attorney in Woodlands, Texas, great place, by the way, used to be out there, is facing charges for egging a judge's car over the stay-at-home orders. Now, are we still at that point, people? Most places you can go out now as long as you wear a mask. So what in God's green earth is the reason behind you having to egg a judge's car? Well, now you got charges. Now you got charges. Just saying. This is how much people love getting outside and back to some semblance of their old lives. Some people now say they love waiting in a line outside a store. A person literally said, quote, this is as bumping as it gets. Look, you know people have been in a house too long when they're psyched to wait in line outside of a store or anywhere for that matter. If people are saying that they're psyched to do that, people have been in a house too long. Some people have just too much money. There are more than 1,000 people on a waiting list to get haircuts from a salon in New York City that charges, wait for it, $160 to $1,000 per haircut. Look, let me tell you something. Y'all know that your boy Sports Guy Mike is as bald as a cue ball. Even if I had hair. And I used to love getting my hair cut and all that good stuff, but I ain't paying $160. And I dang sure ain't paying $1,000 to get my flipping haircut. Meanwhile, New York City's health department has updated its coronavirus safe sex recommendations, and it says the best idea is, quote, video dates, sexting, subscription-based fan platforms, and sexy Zoom parties. Okay, that's a little bit much even for your boy. Sorry. I mean, I'm a pretty open-minded guy, even at my age. But I think I'm okay with not having to deal with sexy Zoom parties. I'm kind of out on that one. All right, and finally, some nightclubs have reopened in Spain, but they're banning people from dancing. The regulations say that dance floors need to be used, quote, to install tables or groups of tables. So this way there can be social distancing. So you can go to the club and listen to the music and get the dancing or no dancing. But you gotta sit at the table. Gotta sit at the table and listen to the music. So yeah, good luck with that, people. Anyway, all right, y'all. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us part of your day. Coming up next after the break, we're going to talk to Miss Ellie Redcloud. And of course, like I said, she is a business strategy consultant, and she is also part of My Black Colorado. Stick around for that. Keep it locked, y'all. Sports Guy Mike Show. Don't go nowhere. Are you looking to get away this summer? Give Venture Travel and Tickets a call at 719-357-7510. Whether you're looking for airfare, hotel, car rental, or even all-inclusive vacations, you need to contact Venture Travel and Tickets at 719-357-7510. Book your vacation today with Venture Travel and Tickets, the best way to get away.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Are you a first-time home buyer having trouble finding the right realtor that fits your needs? Well, look no further. Call Brandy Mendones with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty at 719-291-4678. Take a journey into real estate with a top-notch company and and a top-notch, hands-on realtor that has your real estate success in mind.
I've been in the Colorado Springs area for 14 years, and I love experiencing everything the beautiful state of Colorado has to offer. I've raised my children here and would love to help you find your next home in Southern Colorado.
Call Brandy at 719-291-4678 with Keller Williams Clients Choice Realty, where
home and happiness happen.
Having car problems? Maintenance coming up on your vehicle? Don't gamble your money away at other mechanic shops. Come to All Service Auto. At All Service Auto, you get the quality workmanship and parts that you demand. Professionals at All Service Auto strive to make your experience the best you've ever had, from beginning to end. Everything from engine replacements to tire rotations. All Service Auto can get your vehicle back on the road and driving like you want it. No job is too big or too small. All Service Auto works on all makes and models, making them your one-stop mechanic shop with affordable prices and customer service that is leaps and bounds above the rest. Make your first choice All Service Auto, located at 3455 Shelton Loop, right near the intersection of Platt and Shelton. Call to set up your next appointment at 719-573-0292. Taking care of vehicles and the people who drive them. All Service Auto. Call now, 719-573-0292. All Service Auto.
It's hot. It's a red hot radio station.
welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show right here on KCBR 98.5 AM 1040. Right here in beautiful Colorado Springs, as well as 100mixfm.com. Sports Guy Mike hanging out with you. As promised, Miss Ellie Redcloud is joining the show. Ellie, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you this morning?
I am fantastic. So I've had the pleasure of talking to Ellie about some really pressing issues and things of that nature here in the state of Colorado. She is also a business owner as well. She owns Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting. Is that right?
Yep, that's it.
Did I say that right? Okay. And so she's a business strategy consultant, and she's also a member of My Black Colorado. And I kind of wanted you to come on, especially, obviously, to promote your business, of course, Ellie, but I really wanted you to talk about the message and what goes on and what you guys are trying to get done with My Black Colorado. Tell my listeners a little bit about the organization and what you guys are trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So My Black Colorado was founded by Brandon and Janine Borns, who are the owners. They're business owners as well. They own Borns Pro Media, and which is a videography and photography service here in the Springs. And so My Black Colorado was founded as a way to create a cohesive ecosystem among the Black members of the Colorado community, not just in Colorado Springs, of course, beginning here in Colorado Springs because it's where we are in this area, and then all over the state of Colorado. We are we're 6% of the population, and that's not a lot. And so what ends up happening is that we'll go into communities and you can't really find that cultural connect. And it's not so much about having the separation or having the division, but every ethnicity, whether you're talking about Black or Hispanic, or, if you come from an Asian background, you have certain cultural tendencies and cultural traditions that are part of who you are. And so by creating My Black Colorado, it's a way to create that cohesive ecosystem so we can, quote unquote, find each other and share in these experiences, sharing things like a Juneteenth celebration. That's not going to be something that's mainstream. Share in some of the experiences that we have right now with George Floyd's passing was sort of a catalyst to the changes that needs to happen in terms of what's going on with the Black experience overall in America. And so as Black people, we've already been experiencing this. This is the catalyst. This is sort of the curtain being pulled back for everyone else. But it's not new for most of us to have, we've known that there's been bias. We've known that we've already known all of this. And so My Black Colorado is a way to be able to come together and deal with some of those things. There are sometimes, and this hasn't happened to me here in Colorado Springs. I want to be, clear about that. This overall, in terms of business, this has been a very welcoming business community. To me, that has been my personal experience. I understand that there are definitely some issues still with that as well. But for me personally, it's been very welcoming. But I have been in areas where I've walked into a place where I'm the only person in the room who is a woman of color, and people, look at me as if, why are you here? You don't belong here. And so having someone to go back and have other Black business owners who I can say, oh my gosh, I went into this room and I felt this way, and they 100% understand how I feel.
Right.
That's really important, to be able to reach out and be able to have those conversations with someone who understands where you're coming from. And then on the flip side of that, with My Black Colorado, we're also supporting business owners by providing the Black Business Owners Directory to be able to support. A lot of times, we don't get the ability to market the way that others do. And that comes back, you hear a lot of talk right now about systematic racism. And so a lot of times as Black business owners, we face different disparities, different bias when it comes to getting funding, when it comes to investors, when it comes to actually just being able to get the tools necessary to grow the business and take it to the next level. And so marketing is not something that you really see on a huge scale for many small Black business owners. You really don't see very many who are able to get the TV spots, or are able to get, spots like with you on radio and different things like that. And you don't get necessarily as many opportunities as a Black business owner. And then as a female Black business owner, you kind of face the double bias.
Even harder, right?
Even harder. So you're facing double bias when you're coming in there. And so having this directory, there's over 900 businesses that are listed. It's an easy way if someone wants to support Black economics, wants to support Black-owned businesses as a part of a diversity and inclusion system with what they're doing and how you're spending your dollars. You can go and you can easily find business owners, like for myself, where I do business strategy consulting. So business consulting is something that's not very big in the small Black-owned business community because it's not something that we've traditionally had access to.
Right.
So you can come to My Black Colorado and see that. And not only that, if you subscribe to My Black Colorado as a business owner, I actually offer free consulting to subscribers and members, 1 hour a month. Yeah, so 1 hour a month, I offer free consulting to help to be able to push it forward. So that is really a lot of our drive. And then the last thing that really focuses on our drive is we want to show everyone what being Black really is. There are a lot of stereotypes that lead the narrative on what a Black person is in America. And so we want to be able to change that stereotype. So we have magazines that show the history of Black people in Colorado. We have magazines that show the business side of it. We have the art and cultural, where we have dancers and photographers and artists. And so we're showing this full picture. This 6% of the population, we're doing a lot of stuff in who we really are. Because a lot of times when we're on the news and we're on the TV, it's just when we've done someone who looks like us has done something bad. Right. And so we're not just out here doing something bad. We are contributing to the community. We are an active part of the community. And we're, for the most part, we're just like everybody else. And we are out here and we are doing these things that are pushing the community forward. And we are a huge part of the economic dollar here. We are a huge part of, the growth here. We're a part of the culture of Colorado, showing the rich history of Black people in Colorado. So we're a part of all of that. And we really want to work to change that narrative on what people may stereotypically think about a Black person when they see it, and that they're not. Because I've been told a lot of times, or not like just flat out told, but it's sometimes people feel like people like you and I are the exception and not the rule. But that's not true. It's the people who are committing crimes and doing that. That's the exception, not the rule to who we are. And so we want to flip that narrative over. I'm not the exception to what a Black woman is. I'm not. I'm the rule. And and everything else is there, but like the stereotype that you feel like, that's the exception. So.
What's one of the biggest things that My Black Colorado is doing right now? I know, but if you can tell them what you guys are doing in the wake of the death of George Floyd to try to help things here locally, especially here in Colorado Springs.
Yes. So with My Black Colorado, one of the biggest things we're doing is an economic push to get people to really recognize the Black businesses that are here in Colorado Springs and all over Colorado. In our directory, we have people who are in microblading, we have doctors, we have chiropractors, we have consultants, we have marketing consultants, we have web designers, we have software engineers, we have travel agents, we have radio, producers, we have all of this. And so we're really doing a big push because a lot of the narrative is changing somewhat in terms of people recognizing some of what the experience is that kind of gets hidden for what Black America deals with. And so now people are saying of other ethnicities and of other backgrounds, how can we help? How can we support? What can we do? And so now we're getting that opportunity to say, hey, if you like to travel, here's a whole list of Black travel agents you can work with. If you need business consulting, here's a whole list of consulting. Here's marketing. Here's these things that we can do to really push that economic push. We're also working individually with other organizations in terms of getting change in terms of the political side of things. And I want to make it very clear, I'm not anti-police. My husband is a military police officer, active duty in the United States Army, just returned from his 4th tour of deployment. I am not anti-police, but I am anti when someone wants to treat me differently and not give me the same due process of law and automatically see me as something different just because of how I look. That is what I'm anti. And so just having some accountability on the legal side of things for how police officers are conducting their jobs and getting some accountability in there, being able to say as a community, we not only don't like this, but we are no longer going to just sit back and let this happen. And, you know, I am okay with protests. I'm not for rioting and looting. That's not my taste. Personally, I'm okay with protesting, and I am okay with using any platforms that we have to get the attention to say, hey, change needs to happen. And that's what we're doing. We're looking at using a variety of platforms throughout the Colorado Springs area and the state of Colorado area. It has to start locally. If we can change here, then that can trickle maybe into Denver, and that can trickle into Fort Collins, and that can trickle into a neighboring state, that can trickle, you know, somewhere else. But the change has to begin somewhere. And so we are really working toward being able to change by educating voters on what these bills say. That recent bill that just passed through the Senate, and I can't remember the bill number, but it just passed in terms of changing some of the way that police us. And so educating people on what this information is about, getting people registered to vote, getting people out here and saying, look, these are the changes that we want to happen, and this is how we can make it happen in an organized movement, in an intelligent fashion, and becoming part of the solution versus just sitting back and watching it happen and hoping, you know, you say, we hope that it changes, but being an active part of the solution to make it change and to create a cohesive system for everyone.
The biggest thing for me, and I've said on this show 1,000 times, that we appreciate every kind word and people that say they're behind us and they want to see change as well and they're tired. But it comes down to your actions. It's whether or not you're going to act on those words that you so profoundly put on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page. Hey, you know what? It's great to see those things. I love them. Keep them coming. But here's the thing. What are you doing outside of that? You know what I mean? Are you educating yourself? Are you registered to vote? Have you voted? You know, do you know who these candidates are and what they stand for? And that's a big thing for me in my book. It's like people ask me, and we talked about this at that last meeting, that, you know, white people are asking me, Chris Braden on this very show, you know, was like, look, I want to help. What can I do? And my response is always educate yourself, be a person of action, and make sure you're registered to vote. Those to me are 3 poignant things that not just white people, that everybody needs to do.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And that's why an organization like My Black Colorado is so important, because that education piece is so key. And I always say, you know, from a business strategy consultant point, I do a lot of market research. And so I have to understand my customers' audience and their buyer persona and things like that. And so I always say people, they buy, we move, we act, we think, we do everything based on our perspective of life. And if my perspective of life and my perspective of who Black people are has only been shaped by a narrative of where I've seen Black people be the criminal in every movie, or I've seen Black people be going to jail on every program, if that's my perspective, then my actions are going to be shaped by that. So obviously, if my perspective is that you're dangerous, when I see you, I'm going to fear you. And it goes both ways. I grew up in the South. And so I remember very clearly once I was driving to college, and I lived in Arkansas, driving to college in Louisiana. I was like about maybe 105 pounds. I'm a really small, skinny, kid, and my hair weighs more than me. And I'm like driving down this little Mazda Protege, and I had a blowout. And my brother had taught me how to change the tire, but I can't jack the car up. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Cell phone signal is none. The only thing I could call was 911. You remember, like back in the early 2000s, you could call 911, but nothing else.
Yep.
So I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, am I gonna call 911 for a flat tire? I'm really thinking that, and I'm on this little back road highway. There was a way I could have went through the interstate, but I'm in the fast way. I'm in college. I'm not thinking. So I'm on this little back road highway, and I see this pickup truck pass by. The whole back window is a Confederate flag.
Oh.
And so they drove by, and I immediately like, oh my gosh, I had this fear. And they saw that I was, had an issue. They could clearly see my tire was flat. So they turn around, they come back, and it's two guys inside, and they look like the stereotypical narrative of what racist person in the South is like. They have long hair, and like a denim outfit. Like, oh my gosh. And he's like, do you need some help? And it's like, this part of me is like, no, someone's coming.
Go ahead.
Please don't help me.
Right.
But I was like, well, actually, I do need some help. I'm like, I'm just going to take a chance here. Actually, I do need some help. I'm thinking worst case scenario, I'll call 911,
Right.
And, they were very nice to me. They changed the tire. They put the spare in. They followed me down to the main highway to make sure that everything was good, that I got there safe. They pull up beside me, like, are you good? Are you okay? And so my perspective, I feared them because my perspective of who they were was that they are a danger to me.
Sure.
And that if you don't really come from the South, you don't really come from that area, you may not understand that perspective. Like, why would you fear two guys? People say, well, the Confederate flag means nothing. You hear this kind of narrative. And so they don't understand perspective. On the flip side of that, the Black perspective, that's being given to everybody constantly, all the time. That's not an isolated thing, that narrative that's being pushed out. And so we are constantly fighting against the perspective of, you don't have to fear me. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not here to hurt you. And we're always having to fight against that perspective. And so education is so, so important. There's so many really great documentaries out there, like 13 on Netflix. When They See Us is a good one on Netflix. So there's so many good things out there. Just Mercy, really good movie that came out not too long ago. Great movie. Those are really good things to watch and educate from all standpoints on, what is really happening.
Absolutely. Ellie, tell them real quick how they can get involved with My Black Colorado and how they can find you at Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting.
Yeah, definitely. So at Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting, I help you make more money. That's what I do. If you don't make money, I don't make money.
Right.
So I help you reach your audience, get more sales, get more lead generation. Really love doing that. And I particularly like working with people who are in saturated markets, because competitive strategy is like my thing. I love language. Huh? I love language. So
there you go.
So if you need to figure out how to compete with people, come and see me. You can find me at ellieredcloud.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook as well with Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting, and then on Instagram at SassQueenEllie. So it's a great experience.
And they can also go to myblackcolorado.com, correct?
Yes, you can go to myblackcolorado.com. If you want to test the waters and, kind of see like, hey, what does she actually do? You can sign up to myblackcolorado.com, become a subscriber for $10 a month. You can get an hour free consulting with me on anything. And literally an hour is usually like $175 an hour. So to get that for $10 a month is a huge.
Oh, I'm in. I'm already in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to my consultant.
Absolutely. So subscribe, and you also get copies of the magazines.
Yes.
As a part of that, as a subscription, and the magazines are typically $40 each. So subscribing at $10 a month, you're getting all of the magazines that come out quarterly. So that's a really great option. You can list in the directory for free. I'm going to make that clear. If you just want to list your business in the directory, you can list for free. We also are going to be having some master classes coming up for My Black Colorado. If you're a business owner, a quarterly master classes on everything from marketing to being strategic, how to write a strategic plan for your business, getting funding. So we're going to be having all of those options coming up. And then also By joining, you can also get access to a lot of the meetings that we'll be having going forward in terms of being part of the solution and honestly taking real, true, legitimate action. And in terms of like, how do we reach the mayor, getting in with the city council and making things truly happen.
Well, she is Ellie Redcloud, and of course, she is from Redcloud Strategic Business Consulting, and she's also from My Black Colorado. My dear, always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Have a good one.
You too. All right, y'all. Keep it locked. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, some more sports headlines coming up for you. Don't go anywhere. Sports Guy Mike Show, KCBR, and online at 100 Mix FM. Don't go nowhere.
Hey, Bill, sorry to hear about your car accident. How are you doing?
Not good, Mary. My neck is killing me.
Have you found an attorney for your claim yet?
You know, I went to one of those guys that you see on TV all the time, and they said my claim was too small.
You need to call McDowell Law Firm. No claim is too big or too small. They specialize in criminal defense, DUI defense, and of course, personal injury.
I need that number.
You can call them at 719-227-0022. That's McDowell Law Firm at 719-227-0022 or online at McDowellFirm.com.
Thanks, Mary. I'm going to call him right now.
Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is a licensed and accredited OBH treatment facility providing people services in the criminal justice system for over 6 years. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling is located on 1826 East Platte, on the corner of Platte and Union, where the counselors are not only licensed and accredited, but also have life experience. They offer court-ordered DUI classes and any mandated court-ordered treatment. Use the promo code RADIO and pay only $20 for your initial intake fee for level 2. Adult Youth Swanson Counseling, where we help you feel better so you can get better and live a successful life.
Are you looking to get away this summer? Give Venture Travel and Tickets a call at 719-357-7510. Whether you're looking for airfare, hotel, car rental, or even all-inclusive vacations, you need to contact Venture Travel and Tickets at 719-357-7510. Book your vacation today with Venture Travel and Tickets, the best way to get away.
Get your grub on at Club Tilted Grill and Miss Patty's Kitchen, 3744 Astrazon Boulevard. Open noon to 8 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday with great drink specials and daily food specials. And starting May 23rd and 24th, get your soul food back at Club Tilted Grill and Miss Patty's Kitchen. And for the rest of the month of May, drummies are 10 for $6 at Miss Patty's Kitchen. There's always something great going on at Club Tilted Grill, 3744 Astrazon Boulevard.
The hottest station on the dial.
It's just hot.
It's red hot.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Manitizer, the first ever combination hand sanitizer and ED treatment. Manitizer. Just don't get caught slapping it on.
Welcome back to the Sports Guy Mike Show. Manitizer. Gotta love that. All right. This segment is not brought to you by Manitizer. It's actually brought to you by Handyman Home Solutions. Give Joe a call at 719-362-7937 for a free estimate. Look, Joe is affordable. He's professional. He's dependable. And he does everything from big and small repairs, commercial. He does commercial cleanup, commercial painting, weed and tree removal, trash hauling. He does demo, assembly, landscaping, yard cleanup, even snow removal. So call Joe today for your appointment at Handyman Home Solutions at 719-362-7937. Affordable, professional, dependable. It's Handyman Home Solutions. Make sure you give him a call. Let him know that you heard it here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. All right, y'all. So MLB, Rob Manfred came out yesterday. I'm going to play a quick little clip here. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to play this little clip. Apparently, Rob Manfred is certain that the Major League Baseball will take place this summer, but he is hopeful that it will come as a result of, you know, a negotiated agreement with the MLB players. And feels, you know, these players feel unlikely that this deal is going to get done. A lot of people don't think it's going to get done, but here's Rob Manfred on what he thinks is going to happen.
The most important thing is that we play Major League Baseball in 2020, and I can tell you unequivocally we are going to play Major League Baseball this year.
I'll be honest, my number would be 60 to 70 games, and you pay a full prorated salary, and we get back to the game of baseball. Why wouldn't that be acceptable?
You know, Carl, I'm not going to get into bargaining with you about issues with the Players Association. We'll make another proposal to them that's consistent with the economic realities that we're looking at, including the fact that our revenues are going to be down over 70%. And hopefully we'll find some flexibility on the other side and make an agreement. The most important thing.
Look, it sounds to me, sorry about that. It sounds to me like he got annoyed with Carl Ravitch from ESPN. He's just kind of like, well, I'm not going to get into it with you, Carl. But look, first of all, you guys better figure this out. And I know right now it mainly leans on the players. I get it. But if the players, like I said yesterday, don't get their heads out of their new you-know-what, these guys are going to play 48 games. They're going to get paid per game. And then they're going to be infuriated, and then you're going to be looking at a strike. Guarantee it. So everybody needs to step off of their soapbox, stand on level ground, and figure this thing out. I'm telling you, if this thing doesn't get figured out over the next 72 hours or so, I'm telling you, it's going to be 48 games, because to me, it sounds like Rob Manfred's getting irritated. And in some senses, I honestly don't blame him. I really don't. I think that this is something that is become. Look, if the KBO can get it together, and these other overseas organizations or sports leagues, if you will, if they're figuring out a way to get it done, and yet here we are in the U.S. and we can't get it done, it's going to look so bad, because then now, not only do we already kind of know it's about the money, it's really going to come to fruition, because then the players are going to get mad that they're not going to get as many games as they'd like. You know, I keep hearing 60 games. I don't think that that they're going to come to an agreement, and I think the league is going to impose their will on it, and it's just going to be done that way. And then it's just going to be gross negligence on both parties to not get the product that either one of them necessarily wants. Now, Rob Manfred made a comment about them being down 70% in revenue. You know, if you guys would have had this dialogue, 2 months ago, where you're going back and forth like this, you probably would have already had a solution and not been at the impasse that you are now. It's just irritating, man. Every flipping day. I was watching KBO this morning. NC Dinos, Doosan Bears. I was actually trying to get into it because I don't know what's going to happen with our own baseball. It's irritating. Speaking of not knowing what's going on, as a faction of NBA players hold conference calls to discuss uncertainty about restarting the season in Orlando in the bubble, the NBA and the NBA PA are agreeing on a plan that would allow players to stay home without consequences. That's right. There were 40 to 50 players on this conference call over the past 24 hours discussing a number of concerns centered on the restart in Orlando, but there has been no formal petitioning to the NBPA from any group wanting out of the 22-game resumption. Now, I'm guessing that it's people that are out of contention or that are so low. I mean, I'm not sure. Now, as players have started to come to terms with the restrictive and isolated nature of the Orlando bubble, including no visitors until after the first round of the playoffs, nearly 7 weeks after the opening of mid-July training camp, there has been increased dialogue about the prudence of restarting the season for a number of players, especially those on non-championship contenders, according to a league source. Now, again, I understand it, and I don't begrudge any of these guys if they're concerned. A lot of this stuff spread real fast in the NBA. It just did. But I want you to think about this for a minute. My wife and I talked about this, and a friend of hers from the hospital talked about this as well. Now I'm not trying to debunk anything, any medical reasoning or anything of that nature. All I am saying is that it seems very odd to me that there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of protesters throughout the continental United States gathering to protest. And I'm not complaining about the protesters. I'm just saying, think about this. Why isn't there these gigantic spikes within these communities where people are gathering in the thousands? How come there's not some gigantic spike in Denver right now? It just seems really odd to me. It's very odd. However, now let's go back to this. I don't begrudge any of these guys for not wanting to play, especially if you're not in contention. Why bother, right? I kind of see both sides of it. I see you don't want to risk it. We're not going to win anyway. It's kind of a crappy attitude to have. It is sports, and you are getting the opportunity, but I also, at the other hand, understand their concerns if it is for medical purposes because of the coronavirus. For that, I kind of understand where they're going. And you really can't, begrudge them for that. But executives and coaches around the NBA have had significant concerns about how players will adapt to an environment unlike any that they've ever experienced and how those hurdles could impact the sustained competitive drive for the teams. That's another thing, too. These guys here, let me explain something to you. You guys clamored about getting back to the NBA season so bad. Here's what you have to do. If you're going to go and you're going to be a part of it, and I know that the coaches and the executives are concerned about the players' well-being, their mental state and capabilities of what they'll be able to do, it's your job, okay? You're going to get paid for it. You wanted your season back. Here's your opportunity to get your season back. Shut up, play basketball, figure it out. Do meditation in your room. I don't know what to tell you. Make sure you have look, every freaking athlete I've ever seen, white, black, yellow, or green, always has headphones, and y'all will be fine. Immerse yourself in that. Call your family. Do FaceTime. Whatever you need to do. This is the first step forward. Figure out a way to adapt and overcome. I know you're not a Marine, and I know that's what we do in the Marine Corps. Adapt and overcome, baby. This is where the rubber meets the road. Now you got to go pack up your gear, get in your hotel, get down to sunny, beautiful Orlando, Florida, and let's play some ball. That's all. If you're going to commit to it, have the mindset, look, I'm going to be in this bubble for a hot minute. Just deal with it, man. I mean, look, if y'all need a small point guard, holla at your boy. I'm ready. Put me in. You ain't got to pay me but league minimum. Whatever. Just come on, guys. Get it together. I know it's a little scary. And like I said, for the guys that, are concerned for their health, that's your American right. That's fine. If that's your biggest concern and you're not going to play because of that, that's fine. But don't give me, I'm just stop, man. If you guys don't want to do it, then, and here's the other thing. There are 1,000 other guys behind you that would love to take your place. And I think these guys are forgetting about that. So, but anyway, I hope that players can kind of just, grab everything by the bootstraps, go into this thing head first, and let's play some ball, man. You guys have an opportunity to make this thing reality again and come back to the forefront, and I would love to see it. Part of me is being selfish, of course, because I want to see something other than KBO and UFC and golf and NASCAR. But, that's just me poking. Anyway. All right. Patrick Mahomes said his decision to become involved in the Black Lives Matter movement started to solidify with the video of George Floyd dying while a Minneapolis cop, as we all know, kneeled on him, and killed him. Here is a quick soundbite from Pat Mahomes.
I feel like with every decision that you make, there's going to be positive and negatives, and that is the world that we live in today. But I believe in both my statement and the video that I made that that stuff needed to be said. We needed to come together as a group, as players, and show that we believe that Black Lives Matter, and that we believe that this needs to be informed, and we need to be the role models to go out there and take that step. And obviously, it was great to find the support that we have gotten from the Chiefs, from me, from Coach Reed, from Clark Hunt, Mark Donovan. I've talked to Roger Goodell, and he has shown his support to us. But it's something where I'm always going to be informed of my decision and understand that there's going to be good and there's going to be bad. But if I believe something and I truly believe it, I'm gonna, like Coach Reed says, let my personality show, and I'm gonna stand behind my words, and I'm gonna take whatever consequences that comes with it, and hopefully they're positive. But I'm gonna be the best person that I can be first, whatever that is.
There you go, Patrick Mahomes, speaking on what he is going to do moving forward. Apparently, he also said that he is determined to drive change, and he says that players in the NFL need to be role models. Now, we all know that, go back to Charles Barkley's commercial, I didn't sign up to be your kid's role model. And I've said this probably 100 times on this show over the past 10 years. It's not your choice. It's not, Charles. Wasn't your choice then. It's not Pat Mahomes' choice now. It's what we all say. It's the old adage of, it is what it is. My kids across the country, across the world are watching you. In some way, shape, or form, you are a role model to them. Now, as a parent, I pull back on that. Only the role model definition is different these days. It's more of, hey, man, you want to be like him on the football field. You want to be like him on the basketball court. There's a big difference there. But I understand what Pat Mahomes is trying to say. He's trying to say that now these guys need to be more of role models on and off the field, on and off the court. And I think that's awesome. It should be like that. You guys should be accountable at a little bit higher than everybody else because you are in the public eye. You got to watch what you say. You got to watch what you do. So these things are things that these athletes should be doing. They should be cognizant of what they're doing out the field. Some of these guys need to be more involved in their community. There are a lot of NFL players and baseball and basketball players that are very deep in their communities and have organizations, and all these players that go out and do stuff, lend their time to charity and money, and that's great, but not all guys are doing that. I think there needs to be more of it. You shouldn't, one of the guys on your team shouldn't go, hey, man, I'm going to go down here and, feed the homeless, or we're going to, we're bringing turkeys. Hey, you want to come with me? Don't do it for the photo op. You should be doing it more often yourself. So kudos to Pat Mahomes for sticking by his guns and saying what was on his mind, and, letting these other players know, hey, we need to be more of a role model to the community. And I completely agree with him. And it should be removed from the way that I've always thought of players being a role model only on the field, because so many of them do so much dumb crap off the field. You have to pull back from that. Oh, Dad, I want to be like Derek Jeter when I grow up. Awesome. So you're going to play great baseball and date a lot of good-looking women. Good for you. I got no problem with that, because Derek Jeter never had any negative stuff other than the fact that he did date a lot of women. But isn't that what you're supposed to do in your 20s and 30s, right? You're supposed to date women, go out, have a good time. You know, you never heard about him beating on any of his girlfriends. Never heard about him wrapping a car around a telephone pole. You never heard about him, you know, smoking weed or getting caught in a car with the gun and the weed and the knife and everything else. And then the candlestick in the parlor room. I mean, it's ridiculous. Too bad I didn't have a laugh track for that. Anyway, it just, I applaud him for the things that he said, truly. All right, Carolina Panthers have moved the statue of former owner Jerry Richardson from outside the north gate of Bank America Stadium to an undisclosed site for what the team called safety concerns amid the racial unrest in this country. I actually watched this video of them removing the statue. Good for them. Now, good because they needed to get rid of it. They moved it because they're afraid people were going to destroy it, try to knock it down. The first portion of the statue, which includes Richardson holding out a football between two larger-than-life Panthers, was placed on a flatbed truck by a crane covered with a blue tarp and hauled off. Now, a team spokesperson said it was unclear whether the removal is permanent. However, we all know why they removed it. Richardson had to sell the team to David Tepper's dumb behind in 2018 amid allegations of racial and sexual misconduct that first were reported late in 2017. We all know what happened with that. Good riddance to him and good riddance to that freaking statue. Just because of who the guy was. Never denied it. He just sold the team and walked away. So we all know sometimes guilt is within the silence. So just saying. Let's see. Von Miller calls NFL owners to action in editorial on racial injustice. We'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm going to try to get somebody from the Denver Broncos to come on and talk about that. And I know I said we're going to do this today too, but tomorrow we'll do the 5 best head coaches entering into the 2020 season. We'll do that tomorrow as well. So thanks so much for hanging out with us and making this part of your day. What? Oh, okay. Sorry, I just got a message here from somebody. Yes, NHL officially hit the ice for practice already, so we'll grab a hold of that tomorrow as well. Today in sports history, in 1990, Nolan Ryan became the oldest player to throw a no-hitter. It was the 6th of his career. 1995, Mark McGwire tied a major league record when he hit home runs in 5 consecutive games. And in 2010, on June 11th, ESPN launched ESPN 3D. Interesting. Anyway, and those are your today in sports history moments. Some sports and celebrity birthdays for June 11th. From Duck Dynasty, Sadie Robertson is 23 years old today. Interesting. Calm down, guys. Shia LaBeouf, 34 years old today. Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek is 42. And Peter Dinklage, oh God, 51 years old today. Dr. Oz is 60 today. And Hall of Fame 49ers quarterback, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Mr. Joe Montana, is 64 years old today. Today is National Corn on the Cob Day. 10 days until Father's Day, 23 days until Independence Day, and 85 days until Labor Day weekend. You guys have a great day. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, making us part of your day right here on KCBR 98.5 AM 1040 and online at 100mixfm.com. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, right here on the Sports Guy Mike Show. And as I say around here all the time, don't sweat small stuff. Right here. See ya!